What's up, Sensei fam? I'm your favorite anime sensei, the Opai Sensei, and I'm returning to you to discuss the most recent happenings in the anime world. So today we're talking about the return of Blackbeard. This chapter was a complete head turner, with many bizarre events occurring, such as the fate of Boa and Koby, the possibility that Mako will join the Redhead Pirates, and Blackbeard's surprising new bounty and power. Now keep an eye for this insane chapter. So before we dive in, let's make a deal between sensei and student. If you enjoyed this One Piece review after watching, ensure to be a smashing power king rather than a passing Lorichi, which no one likes. Smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell to enable all notifications so you won't miss future reviews. Let's get locked. The Captain Koby incident is the title of this chapter, which is intriguing of itself. I adore how effective this chapter developed out and what other characters were doing while the Wano arc was taking place. If you're wondering what will happen next, don't worry, we'll get it to you shortly. Another clue to what's happening in the outer world is provided by this story's cover. We see Katakuri and Oven battling among themselves as a result of Caesar's hallucinogenic gas. Once again, I have to remark that this was an intriguing matchup for a story between Gima versus the Big Mom Pirates, so kudos to Oda for that. Next, we jump close to Finks, also known as Whitebeard's homeland, where we spot a lone ship. It turns out to be the Redhead Pirates, and if you recall, Shanks had requested Mako to join his crew earlier when he went to Whitebeard's ship to talk about Blackbeard, and this idea was brought up again. Now that Whitebeard is no longer there, the question is posed to Mako: are you really not going to join the crew? Mako laughs and replies, "Stop dreaming. I'm too old and worn out to keep being the babysitter for you, great pirate." Judging by the way he ended, I think that was sort of a backhanded insult. Why did he emphasize their greatness as pirates in a good way? To me, even if Ben Beckman is 50 and Mako is 45, he's still not old to be a pirate. But I can understand if he feels exhausted after everything. But I'm sure he rise again. Come on, he's a phoenix. Regardless, it's fantastic to see Mako and the Redhead Pirates being so cordial and getting along. Shanks makes one final attempt to argue that he's not a nuisance and urges Beckman to support him. Considering Beckman's hair color changed from black when we first met him to all grey, or maybe all white at this point, if you ask me, you can tell it hasn't been a carefree life for him, if I may say. Instead, he seems terrified and replies, "I can't. He was exhausted when we last saw him, so Mako likely made the right decision." Despite the fact that other carefree figures like Lucky Roo appear to laugh things off, it's good to know that if things go wrong, he might just show up to help the Red-Headed Pirates and the Straw-Headed characters. Mako, though to me, is clearly like Beckman, but only in temperament. Mako is a goodbye and says, "See you around." As the story is building up, we are finally given the long-awaited justification to why Yamato is not joining the team. When questioned if she wants to become a pirate, she responds, "You probably already know this, but the forest guy," who to me is strange that he's still called the forest guy. He has no name. Come on, guys, like One Piece writers, what is his name? So the forest guy was only driven up by anyone who caused that enormous burst of haki. Momo and the Red Scabers simply aren't enough to prevent invaders from coming. As many fans have been claiming, this is what Yamato brings up, which in my opinion is rather lovely, coming from the Ilano Guardian deity. She wouldn't sacrifice herself just for others. Come on, guys, that's kind of sweet. When it's pointed out that neither of them would enjoy their adventures if they were constantly worried about Wano, Fruit User and Luffy eventually become persuaded and let it go. Since Luffy agrees with Yamato that it will relieve him of significant burden, it leaves Yamato to take care of Momo and the others. Nobody can predict whether this will be sufficient to discourage visitors from visiting Wano. However, in theory, Yamato may aid in delaying a formidable foe and give Luffy and his team more time to deal with the threat. Later on, we see Mono enter into the scene to inform Luffy he will leave a day before the Straw Hat, thanks to someone close by who was giving him a ride, which is a no-brainer, guys. Come on, it's the Redhead ship. Luffy eventually thanks Marco for saving him during the stomach conflict because he was unable to do so because of his entire unconscious problem. Marco dismisses the remark and continues to praise Luffy, saying that Ace will be pleased with how far he has come. He tells him to hold on because the younger generation is now in charge of the times. This is a clear sign that Marco is supporting the younger generation and he's really handing over the baton. We take an unexpected turn as we travel to Amazon Lily, the base of the Redhead Pirates, because this is the first time in history that men have invaded this way. Town is in bad shape and the Navy won't stop coming as long as Boa is here. Since it has gotten to this point, Boa believes that her best bet to surviving this situation will be to marry Luffy. And this is kind of interesting, despite kind of funny, because is she just taking advantage of the situation or does she really love him? Then we go back to time. The Navy bombarded Amazon Lily with numerous explosions. I mean, come on. The Koja warriors don't seem to give up easily despite their attacks. We can see in the pictures that Vice Admiral Yamakaji coolly smoking his cigarette while directing his army to place the new pacifistas, the Seraphim, on the front lines. It's challenging for anyone to combat these pacifistas since she assumed the appearance of a little girl with stars in her eyes. And this is happening, someone yells worship, and as they look up, we see none other than Blackbeard's pirate ship rushing for them. I mean, come on, this was an interesting feat. Blackbeard reveals that he's only after the pirate empress and that he won't allow someone with a level of power to fall into the hands of the Navy. When Devin comments on how beautiful Boa's face is and how her head will make a beautiful trophy, because apparently collecting them is her weird hobby. Come on guys, like that is so creepy. Blackbeard replies that she's free to do as she pleases as long as they take her powers. Vasco goes on to say that if they took her alive, they could have even more fun with her. So whoever wins here is going to have bad news for both of them. Will she be alive or will she be dead? We have to find out. The navies are terrified, but it works to their advantage since Blackbeard deals with them quietly and quickly. With the wave of his Numi hand, he quickly handles them and moves on. Blackbeard is calling out for Boa, but she's trying to handle the Marines. Koby, in contrast to Yamakaji, claimed that he's not startled by Blackbeard's entrance because he anticipated that other pirates will want a piece of the former warlords after they lost their position. Hancock is offered a bargain by Koby in which they leave right away if she gives up the fight. Boa, however, claims that she will never submit to another person's imprisonment, owing to their previous experiences, entrusting Koby to conserve his breath. Boa appears to be getting ready to use her powers when Blackbeard's ships begin to take down a new pacifista. Blackbeard is shocked to see the white hair, brown skin, and black wings. This implies that Blackbeard is surprised to see these pacifista's Lunarian godly genes in person and knows that Lunarians exist. While Blackbeard is still struggling with these, the pacifista defeats every member of his crew, leaving Blackbeard speechless. This just demonstrates how powerful these guys are. The pacifistas, however, proceed to slash through a huge mountain as if it were nothing, as Blackbeard is still confused and wondering what to do. Blackbeard uses his armament haki to deflect the attack, but it's obvious that the pacifistas is a serious danger. This is the first time I remind you guys that we have seen Blackbeard actually use his haki in battle. To escape, however, he uses a black hole to deal with the situation. The focus then shifts back to Boa, who has been utilizing her supernatural abilities to turn numerous marines into stones, including Helmopo and Vice Admiral Yamakaji. Koby is worried about the pacifist since he's calling for it to cease smashing the individuals who had been transformed to stone, and he says that's an order. Like he can order a pacifista. Come on, Koby. Boa is about to use the fabled perfume spray when she's cruelly halted by none other than who? You guessed right, people, Blackbeard. This just keeps getting interesting. Who has his hand on her and so neutralizes the influence of the Kuja princess. The bounties of these two are shown and they are both impressive, I must say. While Koby stands helplessly watching the situation, the new bounty for Boa is 1.659 billion, while Blackbeard's new bounty is 3.996 billion, which is nearly the same as Shark's. As things get heated up, Blackbeard says he has had his eye on Boa for quite a while. But we are about to get a huge surprise. Boa says that her beauty is intertwined with her powers, and that if Blackbeard kills her, he kills all his friends. Evidently, the person who gains control of her power won't be able to free them. So even if Blackbeard gets it, all his people will remain stones forever. And this was a great negotiating tool. Even Koby remarks that he realized that Boa is trickier than anyone anticipated, as Blackbeard commands her, stating, "You sure got us good." Blackbeard proceeds to tell Koby about a favor he received in Rocky Port, which allowed him to oust and defeat Ochoko and take control of Pirate Island. In case you're wondering, Ochoko was a member of the notorious Rocks Pirates and the previous lord of the Pirate Island. When Koby attempted to save some villagers before, he reportedly contributed to Blackbeard's consolidation of power. He asks Koby if he unhands Boa, does he think she'll play nice and turn everyone back to normal? Koby just says it would be a headache if she didn't restore the Marines. It's really fascinating position when Boa counters and says she'll do it if two of them decide to leave the island. Although it's intriguing how he's acting here, as though he and Koby are on the same side and as though some of them were friends, Blackbeard doesn't bite and believes that if he did let her free, he and Koby would just be turned to stone. Blackbeard asserts that he sincerely doubts that any guy could withstand Boa's charm. I kind of think this too. I mean, if I was a villain, I wouldn't take this risk. Blackbeard claims it's a true puzzle, but he assumes he must kill her. Koby is pleading with him to hold up and save all. Koby. But just then, a strange swordman appears, and to our greatest surprise, is none other than really the Dark King himself. Much to everyone's surprise, even Blackbeard that we could see really in this chapter. He apologizes to Boa for being late, and everybody is just taken aback by his brilliance. The struggle at the Amazon Lily looks like it's coming to an end when the Dark King let us know that he thinks it's immature, but he doesn't like Blackbeard, and that he was only attempting to put an end to the conflict rather than taking someone's life. No one really knows what happens after that, but we get back to the present and we notice that Lily Shukayaku, a former princess of the Amazon, is present. It is then made clear that she was the previous captain of the Redhead Pirates. We all thought that, but it was never actually confirmed. Boa thanks Riley, and she thanks him alone for the victory as she lays at his feet. He says, to be frank, we got lucky that circumstances allowed him to resolve things. I'm very certain, and I quote from his words, that I wouldn't defeat Blackbeard in a direct confrontation, given my reputation and advanced age. When the Dark King, really the Dark King, asserts that Blackbeard would have defeated him, if there was ever a clue that we are in a new era, guys, come on, this is definitely it. Redhead brings up the topic of the pacifistas and how none of them were harmed even after the battle. She also says that one of them looked exactly like her when she was younger. We then get a quick insight to Koby and how he has been kidnapped by one of Blackbeard's men. Even when Blackbeard seems to be losing, he still ends up winning. What happens to Koby? Well, we don't know. We have to find out in the next chapter. Until next time, guys, see you guys. We love you guys. Subscribe to the channel. Show some love, people. Be that master pirate and don't be that person Norishi. Bye, guys.